So Buffett told us at the lunch in 2008, and actually at that time, Alice Schroeder's biography on him had not come out yet. He had read the manuscript, but the book hadn't come out. And the subject of the inner and outer scorecard is covered in her book. So this is a reference. I would say that if you wanted to probe further, you could go through that biography. But Buffett said basically there are two ways you can go through life. You can go through life with an inner scorecard, or you can go through life with an outer scorecard. And he said, would you like to be the best lover in the world but known as the worst, or would you like to be the worst lover in the world but known as the best? And if you know how to answer that question correctly, then you've got it made. And the inner scorecard is a very powerful mental model because there are many times when the world does not calibrate its response to you or how they think of you appropriately. They may think you're way more awesome than you actually are, or they may think you're way more useless than you actually are. And the correct way to think about it and calibrate is to have an internal yardstick and to have internal objective measures. And so I think that if you can set a true north internal compass, both in terms of integrity, how you go about your affairs, and you measure yourself based on that inner scorecard, then I think that's a great way to go. There's a book that Nick Sleep recommends, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It became a bestseller, even though the first 140 publishers turned it down. It's quite a weird book on many fronts. I would say that probably after you read the first 10 pages, you'll probably toss it aside saying this is utter nonsense. And, you probably won't have the patience for it. But he goes through, in effect, he doesn't talk about scorecards, but he goes through this concept of the pursuit of quality, and that book had a huge impact on Nick Sleep, and it had a huge impact on how he ran the Nomad Fund. And he was looking to do a quality job. And he wasn't trying to do a quality job just to make it look good for the rest of the world. He wanted to himself be convinced that he had done, that it was a job well done. And that, Nick has a quote in his letters, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. He says that, when people ask me or ask Zach and me what we accomplished in the war, he said, we'd like to say that we we converted a dollar into $10, right? And so clearly that is an outer scorecard measure, the dollar into $10. But I think for him, the important thing was, how did you do that? How did you go about converting the dollar into 10? And did you do the best possible job in getting there? And they set up a whole environment. I mean, they used to read annual reports till they got blue in the face. Zach didn't even have a desk. You know, they ran this $3 billion fund. One of the partners doesn't have a desk, and he'd just come in and read in his lazy boy, and that's what he did. He didn't see the need to have a desk, and the job was well done.